Viewers, we begin with a late-breaking news all through the day today. The Congress party has been cribbing about Prime Minister Narendra Modi's petty mindset after the centre cited the rule book to ask the Gandhi scion Priyanka Vadra to vacate her Lutyens Zone Type 6 mansion. Now, viewers, the use of the word petty is very, very far-fetched. In fact, it mocks us, the taxpayer. In fact, Modi government has ended a princely arrangement between Priyanka Gandhi Vadra and the Union of India. As of last month, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra paid just over 37,000 rupees per month as rent to live in a mansion, almost 1 acre plot in the heart of Lutyens Zone, meters away from the Prime Minister's own residence. In fact, her rent was increased by a paltry rupees 1,700 per year. 1,700 per year. Imagine if you were to break that down into a monthly increase. Yes, viewers, for 17 years, her rent was increased by only 1,700 rupees per year. Navika Kumar joins me for more on this late-breaking story, but quite a sensational one. Navika, what's going on? What kind of a sweetheart arrangement is this?
Well, Rahul, I don't know. We've never had these kind of sweetheart deals. I don't think anybody who's watching Times Now tonight has ever had, because common people normally have to work for a living and earn to live in a home like that, or contest elections to live in a house like that. But because she's Priyanka Gandhi, and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had this sweet deal which went on for 23 years. And let me tell you at how many levels the deal was sweet. Number one, 97 to about 2003, she paid a rent of somewhere starting from about 15 to 18,000 rupees, went up to about 28,000 rupees. May I tell you that in 2001, the government increased the prices of Lutyens Delhi bungalows, but Miss Priyanka Gandhi Vadra paid only 28,000 till 2003, even though rates for rentals had been increased from 2001 itself. It is in 2002, she wrote a letter to the then Prime Minister and said that she wasn't staying in this house of her own choice. She was only staying there because she was an SPG protectee, and therefore special rates should apply for her. So everybody else who was getting this kind of special protection paid 53,000 rupees per month, but Priyanka Gandhi Vadra at least till 2003 paid only 28,000 rupees. And then this gets worse. Then the deal is revised because she said she can't pay as much. So the deal was revised and the license fees calculation was brought down from 50 times. It became a 20 times calculation of her deal. And guess what? The rental became then. It was 8,888 rupees.
8,888 per month?
8,888 rupees per month in that bungalow, which is at least, I don't know, but if I estimate a 4,000 square yard bungalow with a front lawn, a back lawn, a porch, arches in the veranda, at least 3 to 4 bedrooms inside, a couple of sitting rooms, a dining hall, a couple of office or study rooms inside, all of this for 8,888 rupees.
Navika, just providing
rates.
Security for one guard at that time would have been 8,888. I'm quite sure. And here she was getting to pay for this beautiful, beautiful mansion. Look at the arches on this. Look at the porch. Look at the lushness of this building. It's a heritage site. Look at the grandeur of it. And you're paying 8,888 per month.
Don't forget, it gets maintained by the Central Public Works Department, the CPWD, for free. It gets, you'll have those plants, those trees, the pots, etc. The beautification outside, the maintenance outside, all that is for free. Just in case you thought you were paying 8,888, all of this was for free.
Yeah.
And from 2003 to 2020, this rental has gone up to about 37,400 per month, which is what she paid yesterday, and for 10 months period. And Rahul, she calls other people petty. And she lost her SPG cover on the 11th of August last year. And 10 months, nobody has asked her to vacate this bungalow. It's only when it routinely came up for review that this file was put up. I just want to ask, why would anybody who's not eligible for something get it? Do you get it? Do I get it? Does the common man on the street get it? Because this maintenance, this kind of bungalows actually are made out of the taxpayers' money. And the Congress party says that it is petty of the government to ask her to vacate. I don't know. I think that judgment is for the people to take.
Yes. Tell me, viewers, is Modi really being petty, or is he being magnanimous to give a princely perk like this? Navika, I just wanted to ask you this because it's been on everyone's mind. There are obviously others also within the zone at that particular time that got special rates, and all of them were linked to the Congress, or was it across the board for all SPG protectees?
Well, from what I know from reading some of these documents, when I had a chance to look at it some time ago, there was Jagdish Titler who was staying out of turn, Bhuta Singh who was staying out of turn. He was with the Congress earlier, then he joined the BJP. These people were there. KPS Gill had a threat perception and special security because he'd fought the Punjab terrorism. So he had a house. Maninder Singh Bitta, who also has had a terror attack on him and has also been hurt in that terror attack. He has a house. And of course, in the latest provisions, LK Advani and Murli Manohar Joshi have these houses. I really don't know what the rates they are paying, but normally it's the license fee, which is 1,870 rupees into 20 times over that which is paid. And the reason these two individuals have got is because there is, till last year, both of them were members of parliament, so they were eligible. And for the last 1 year, because in November we had the Ram Mandir judgment, and both these individuals have cases against them, and their threat perception being what it is, given the fact that the verdict has come, there is going to be the building of the Ram Mandir over the next few months, which is why LK Advani, who is I think in his early 90s, was given an extension for life, and Murli Manohar Joshi for 3 years, because another review of his threat perception will be done after 3 years, by which time, if the mandir is constructed, perhaps a decision will be taken.
What really galls is that not only did Priyanka Gandhi get a good deal. In 2001 per month, she would have just had to pay 28,451, but she actually negotiated with the government and brought it down to 8,888.
One more point. Jagdish Titler had got a free house without any special reason for God knows 10, 12, 13, 14 years. In fact, during the entire UPA era. And he is an accused in the 1984 riots.
Let's just quickly focus back on the important issues here, viewers. There are two important issues. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra was asked to pay 28,451. She said, look, I don't want to stay in one of these bungalows. Maybe then she should have considered moving out. But she said, look, since I'm being forced to stay here, I can't afford to pay 28,451. This is around the same time when her husband was, of course, expanding his businesses, was doing very, very well. The family, as far as we know, don't lack for money. And they brought this rent down to 8,888. And after Mr. Vadra, by his own admission, said that he paid, that he was, very successful in business and had made crores and crores of rupees, even then, the Vadras, Navika, did not go back to the government to say, okay, now you can charge us the rate at which the market would expect a certain return on this particular property, even though it would have been still a big concession. They didn't go back to renegotiate.
Well, Rahul, I can only say there is a nearby locality, whether you look at Golf Links or whether you look at Jorbagh, a house of that kind in one of these colonies would cost about 25-30 lakhs or thereabouts, this size. And that's still not as central as Lodi Estate is. Now, that's the market rate per month. I'm not talking about per year. I'm talking about per month.
Per month.
And Priyanka Gandhi Vadra has paid an increase in the rental for over the last 17 years of 1,700 rupees
per
only.
Year.
1,700 rupees per year.
The Vadras couldn't afford.
1,700 probably will get you 5 kgs of atta, a couple of kilos of basmati rice, and maybe some cooking oil, and vegetables for perhaps 3 days in a normal household.
Well, thanks indeed, Navika. Let me just quickly open this out, because the Congress party, viewers, the Congress party has been coming out and launching a tirade against the Prime Minister, saying he's very petty, he's kicked out Priyanka Gandhi. Yes, Tanveer Ahmed, yes, you want to go ahead? You're raising your hand.
Firstly, what are we trying to say? Priyanka Gandhi has absolutely not done anything wrong. Priyanka Gandhi was staying there for a long time. Yes, she was. But she wasn't staying illegally. She had really taken care of all the norms.
I'm not saying that, sir. I'm not saying that she did anything illegal. Did I say anything like that? No. I'm only saying, look at the preposterousness of it. The Congress party. Allow me, sir. Just allow me. I'm not saying anything. In fact, I even said that this deal was offered to others, and Navika clarified that certain others also got this deal. So we are not trying to say that. Please don't try to put words in my mouth. All I'm trying to say is that the Congress is resenting this move, which is actually timely, because this
has done nothing wrong. The
one second.
wrong which Priyanka has done is she said she's going to Uttar Pradesh to challenge Yogi Adityanath.
Oh,
I think she did a biggest mistake.
I see. Let me tell you, the SPG cover. Now listen to me. You really want to get into the weeds on this? Let's get into the weeds. No problems. No problems. Priyanka Gandhi Vadra lost her SPG cover September last year. She could have moved out. She could have moved out. Could she not have? She could have gone to Uttar Pradesh. In fact, the government should have actually ended this sweet deal in August. But they waited almost a year, 8-9 months, maybe even 10. My maths is not my strong point. To end this, and you call it petty and vendetta.
Absolutely, the country should really congratulate Priyanka Gandhi.
I think today we should be
agreed to really move out of that place. I think we need to appreciate and applaud Priyanka Gandhi.
I'm sure, sir, that there will be a large number of Priyanka fans who will be applauding her for her decision, but let's not forget that these are also very trying circumstances. A lot of people have lost jobs. They have seen reductions in their salary, but they don't get this kind of privilege. I don't know anyone who does. Unwanted or not, a bargain was struck with this government to bring down, not this government, but the government in 2003, which was an NDA government, Vajpayee's government, to bring down 28,000 rupees per month to 8,888. And after that, every year on an average, 1,700 rupees more was paid by the Vadras to stay in this gorgeous mansion. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, before I make it political by bringing in Tehseen Poonawala as well as the BJP's erudite spokesperson Nalin Kohli, I just want to come out to you. How do you see this, Dr. Ranganathan?
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. I hope you know that the number 8888, which is the rent Priyanka Gandhi negotiated, is a magic number in Christian mythology. And apparently it signifies abundance, good fortune and windfall. All true. Perhaps the only time I am prepared to forsake astronomy and have belief in astrology. But on a serious note, the fire lit by the erstwhile Congress zamindars has singed the minds of their progenies so completely that nothing grows on it, on that charred landscape except entitlement. Nothing. And I note with amusement how all these Congress men and women Fridays are bringing in whataboutery to counter the legitimate eviction. Never mind that rules under the SPG Act formulated by the Congress validates the eviction notice. But the issue is much deeper, Rahul, more psychological. You need to understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. And so it follows that neither was the sense of entitlement of the Romans. Veni, vidi, vinci. I came, I married, and I inherited. You see, the departing British handed over to the native something magical, his own land. And the native received that land with watery eyes and a lump in his throat. And now that he had the government sanction and the constitutional right to walk on the soft lawns, smell the flowers, collect the jamuns, drive on the boulevards, now that he was free, he quickly made it his and only his. And over the years, many of the Lutyens' bungalows have become imposing shrines of refuge away from the heat and dust of Amethi and Raebareli, with the accompanying green acreage giving way to swimming pools paved with Italian marble, all to the delight and satisfaction of the victorious. There she sits, and from there she dreams to rule. And when she returns once more to the basic elements she was molded from, as must we all, her next of kin will miraculously get the same bungalow to live in for the next 50 years. And 1,000 years from now, when archaeologists stumble upon the mythical city of Delhi, the most well-preserved ruins they shall find would be of Lutyens' Pompeii. The tumblers and the vases of a dynasty will once again be on show in a memorial cum museum that was once a Lutyens' bungalow.
Well, I have to hand it to you, Dr. Anand Ranganathan. You couldn't have said it any better, with a pen dipped in abundant sarcasm. But look, I understand where you're coming from. This has been a cruel joke that has been played. I'm not going to, at any level, condone any of the governments. They should have all stepped in and renegotiated. This was a fraud, really, on the taxpayer. Nalin Kohli, why were you being so petty? Why have you ended this? Abundance, good fortune, and sent Miss Vadra into the hurly-burly of UP politics. This is very cruel of you. You shouldn't have done this. I mean, you've deprived her of living in such luxury on 37,400 rupees a month. Come on. And you pushed her into a bungalow that was owned by somebody very, very controversial. I'm sure she wouldn't want to live in that house. Sheila Kaur was a very controversial individual, cited for corruption, etc., in her time. Now you forced her to live in a bungalow, which perhaps was even constructed out of the proceeds of ill-gotten wealth. I mean, this is not good of you, Mr. Kohli. Why have you done this?
Good evening, Rahul. I see you have borrowed the pot of sarcasm from Anand and made good use of it with what you've scripted thereafter. But let's get back to the meat of the matter. I think the meat of the matter is very simple. She's no longer entitled, period. I mean, whatever be the reasons, she enjoyed it as a SPG protectorate. She had it. It ended last year. So she's not entitled. If she's not entitled and she continues staying any further in it, then that is the politics of entitlement, which is what the Nehru-Gandhi family believes it's its birthright. They are entitled to believe so. The rest of India doesn't. Now, with regards to the rules being followed, is not pettiness, because you'll have to have the same law for everyone. So if their entitlement ended, they should move out, and that's what they should do. Now, to give it a color that I'm shifting to Uttar Pradesh, or I'm going there and I was in any case planning to, is their right. We can't fight with them to build a story or a narrative to suit themselves. But the fact of the matter is, I find it interesting. If Dr. Anand Ranganathan sees 8888 as out of mythology or astrology instead of astronomy, I see 8888 perilously close to the 7,500 of Nyaya concept that the Congress has been peddling and its top leadership. They seem to certainly have been the first beneficiaries of their own Nyaya concept. At least they implemented it for themselves before they started screaming about it for their governments to follow it.
अब आप उनके साथ अन्याय कर रहे हैं. That's the bottom line message that Tehseen will take off from. So Tehseen, Go ahead. I know that you're close to the Vadras. You're married into the Vadra family. I know this is an issue close to your heart, and I know you're going to also vent your spleen. But we have a good debate going here. So don't get personal. I just want to ask you very specifically, what is there to crib about? You had the best of every world, every decade.
So Rahul, we have a great debate going here, to quote you. A great debate includes another point of view and not being interrupted like Dr. Anand or Nalin was not interrupted. I'll make my points very quickly, very briefly. Anand, of course, is a believer in mythology. I've said this a number of times because 888 is not just Christian mythology. It's a very auspicious number in Hinduism. That's why the Prime Minister is always at thinking what he's saying is auspicious for the country. However, it turns out to be inauspicious for the country. I don't want to divert. It is also auspicious in Hinduism, but Anand will not know about it. Let's come to the matter. I quote you again, Rahul. You said this is a cruel joke on the country. A cruel joke on the country would be something is illegal, but then I quote you said there was no illegality. So either you're pregnant or you're not pregnant. If you're not, you cannot be half pregnant. So if there's no illegality, there can be no cruel joke. Now I want to come to the meat of the matter, quoting Nalin Kohli. Between 1997 and 2003, when this bungalow was allotted by the security agencies, not by Vajpayee, he was the Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And I quote the intelligence agency Priyanka Gandhi Vadra that you cannot stay anywhere else but in this bungalow simply because this is where we can protect you. Now you talk about the luxuries of life and enjoying the life. Again, I'm quoting you. She's lost her father and her grandmother to terrorism. They're martyrs for this country. I wish more people on this panel would have had that luxury of life. They've not had that luxury of life. Now I want to come to the end of my substance. In 2014, when Modi ji became Prime Minister, Durga Prasad ji, the then SPG chief, Priyanka Gandhi wrote, and I'm quoting from Times of India, please take away my SPG as well as my house. Durga Prasad and the intelligence agency, including the then IB chief Asif Ali, came back to Priyanka and said, we cannot remove your SPG and we cannot remove your house because you're under threat. And I'll tell you from war, from Pakistani elements. Remember, Indira Gandhi broke Pakistan through. From Khalistan, from the remains of LTT, the northeastern Maoists, and even from China, because Indira Gandhi defeated China in 67. They gave these reasons. Therefore, the SPGs continued. Now, in the middle of the pandemic, Prime Minister Modi thinks she should leave her house for 23 years. That's his prerogative. He's the boss of this country. We respect him. We will walk out. But I just want to end by these 4 lines, and this is where I end. Modi ji, सेना को इंसाफ भी दे न सका, आशीष सेना की ले न सका, उल्टे कांग्रेस को बांधने चला, जो था असाध्य साधने चला. जब नाश मनुष्य पर आता है, पहले विवेक मर जाता. मोदी जी का विवेक मर गया, कोई बात नहीं. We will stand by Modi ji. He's our Prime Minister. We respect him.
Nalin Kohli, quick response, and then I'll want to quickly rebut Tehseen and move on. Yes, Mr. Kohli.
I've lost my audio, so maybe you can return to me after a minute.
Okay, well, let me tell you, viewers, yes, no illegality here. I'll be the first one to concede that. But there is something called spirit and letter. The letter of the law may not have been violated, but the spirit certainly has been vitiated. Now, I'll tell you why, viewers. We're not upset at the fact that Priyanka Gandhi was blessed by good fortune by successive governments who continued by not wanting to change these special rates and privileges that have been granted to her because, as she said, she was forced to live here because of SPG cover and she couldn't afford to stay here. But after a particular point in time, the Vadras could very clearly afford to stay here. I'm not saying it, but the Vadras say it themselves. Mr. Robert Vadra came out and said that I'm being targeted because I've become an exponentially successful businessman. Perhaps in the spirit of giving back to the taxpayer, the family that has served Indian public and, of course, this country for so long could have set aside for just a few years, not more, few years, the urge to continue with making a killing on this by saying, okay, let's increase the rates. We can clearly pay more. We are now pushing the envelope. The government has kept up a deal with us. We can change the terms. Now we can afford. We are wanting to give back in charity, if nothing else, out of good grace. We want to reward God for giving us good fortune. They didn't do that, viewers. That's what I'm saying. It's the vitiating of the spirit. Nonetheless, Nalin Kohli, quick response, and I need to move on. Yes.
I have a point to make, Rahul. everyone on this panel, and this is an important point, they seem mentioned about Indira Gandhi ji, about Rajiv Gandhi ji. Of course, they were assassinated as prime ministers of India, and we all recognize that. But you also have to bear in mind, no one on this panel, close to 50 years or around that, keeps repeating, I'm the son of so-and-so, or the daughter of so-and-so, or the granddaughter of so-and-so, or the grandson of so-and-so, etc. That is done by people who don't have an identity of their own. They don't have an achievement of their own. That's why they need the crutches of a family name to constantly remind people. And that's the legacy of the Nehru-Gandhi family. If they are so...
I'll leave it at this because the family name certainly bought them a concession from government. The government is at fault. They should have reviewed it. Thank goodness now this strange anomaly has been rectified. At least someone has had the sense to say, okay, enough is enough. Even though it is 10 months too late, viewers, 10 months too late, even then. The Congress has no business to call this pettiness. They should actually be thankful that they were privileged for so long. 23 years, a long time, viewers, very, very long time. Just remember the numbers that I put out there. 8,888 per month was paid by her in 2003 after she managed a special rate with the government, and that was revised by an average of 1,700 rupees per year. And we are talking about a bungalow in Lutyens zone. Think about that.